If you open up the walls of a modern, well-plumbed home, you'll find a centralized command center. This is a PEX manifold. When a pipe bursts under a sink or behind a shower, you don't have time to search for a mainline shutoff. A manifold lets you isolate the exact leak instantly. You can turn off the water to a single room while keeping the rest of the house running. To get to that level of control, we need to take a raw stud bay and build a secure, fully functional hub that is ready for drywall. You'll need to use specific components to make this happen: the manifold block itself, mounting brackets, a healthy supply of PEX A tubing, and a power drill with a hole saw or bit scaled up for clearance. By routing the entire water supply through one accessible panel, a major plumbing crisis becomes nothing more than flipping a localized switch. Before any pipe is cut, we have to prepare the physical structure. The first step is measuring the gap between your wall studs. If the bay is wider than the manifold's native mounting bracket, you'll need to cut and secure additional 2x4s to bridge that extra space. Next, the metal mounting bracket snaps directly into the back of the plastic manifold block. With the bracket seated, the entire unit is leveled and then screwed securely into that newly reinforced framing. As an added layer of defense, installing a plywood backer behind the manifold protects the soft plastic block from errant drywall screws when the walls are closed up later. This rigid foundation ensures the manifold won't shift. Preventing microscopic vibrations now protects the delicate plumbing joints from mechanical stress for decades. With the block mounted, the overhead supply lines need a clean path down through the wall plates to connect. This introduces a quirk of PEX tubing. What is sold as a half-inch pipe actually measures 3/4 of an inch across its outer diameter. To safely accommodate that true 3/4 inch boundary, you have to drill a 1 1/4 inch access hole. That extra space is required because PEX tubing constantly expands and contracts as hot and cold water cycles through the system. If you drill a tight hole, that thermal expansion causes the pipe to bind against the wood, creating loud squeaks inside your walls and eventually wearing down the plastic. When it comes time to run the tubing, there is one major pitfall to avoid: tearing off the manufacturer's plastic wrap. Leave the wrap intact and pull the tubing directly from the center of the package as needed. As you pull each line, apply its specific identification label immediately so you don't lose track of the routing. Giving the pipes physical room to breathe while keeping your spools strictly organized keeps the installation quiet and efficient. Now we reach the final connection phase. This step relies on heavy compression adapters and a sharp inner ring called a ferrule to lock the water in. A common mistake here is threading the adapter onto the manifold, then using a wrench to crank the heavy nut down. The soft plastic block cannot handle that level of mechanical torque and will crack. To eliminate that risk completely, all compression fittings must be built off the wall. Slide the nut and the ferrule onto the PEX pipe, attach the adapter, and tighten the assembly securely with your wrenches in open air. Once the high-pressure connection is made to the pipe, you lift the completed fitting to the manifold and secure the final connection strictly by hand. Keeping the brute force of the wrenches away from the central hub protects the structural integrity of the block. Looking at the finished setup, the block is completely level and anchored firmly against the reinforced studs. The supply lines feed cleanly from the ceiling, resting comfortably inside those oversized holes, with plenty of room to expand. Every single line is tagged with a clear label, and the compression adapters sit flush against the manifold, secured without any stress fractures. The hot and cold routing is properly separated. The lines are ready to be pressurized, and the surrounding framework is fully prepped for the drywall crew. Hitting these specific tolerances and assembly steps turns a tangled web of pipes into a resilient, permanent piece of home infrastructure.